Mankind's Hell in a Cell fall. Hello, everybody. I am your host for this Great Moments in Wrestling History. And today we are going to look at one of the most shocking images in all of wrestling, the time Mankind was thrown from the top of the cell by The Undertaker. Now there have been many great matches inside the Hell in a Cell, but few were as brutal and as hard-hitting and as downright scary as the one that took place at King of the Ring 1998, between the legendary Undertaker and the hardcore legend. But before we get to that, if you are enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit that like button for more great wrestling content. The Undertaker began to gain the upper hand and he hoisted Mankind up on the top rope. He looked like he was going to deliver a superplex, but instead he turned it into a powerbomb. The crowd was going wild at this point, not knowing what was going to happen next. He was going to deliver a final blow, but Mankind fought back and bit the Undertaker on the nose. This caused the Undertaker to stumble back, allowing Mankind to escape and climb to the top of the cage once again. But the Undertaker was able to get back to his feet, and he charged at Mankind, sending him crashing to the mat. Here's when the unthinkable happened. The Undertaker reached over, grabbed Mankind by the head and slammed him off the top of the cage and through the announce table, climbed back in, and delivered a vicious shot to Mankind's head. The Undertaker then grabbed Mankind and pulled him off the top rope. 1, 2, 3. The Undertaker had defeated Mankind, but he would eventually return to the ring and continue to wrestle for several more years. The two men put their bodies on the line and pushed themselves to the extreme, delivering a match that fans will never forget. And while the image of Mankind being thrown off the top of the cell may be the most shocking, it was really the culmination of a brutal and hard-hitting match that cemented both men's legacies in wrestling history. The Undertaker, on the other hand, would go on to have many more Hell in a Cell matches, but none would be quite as brutal and hard-hitting as the one he had against Mankind at King of the Ring 1998, but the image of Mankind lying motionless on the mat after being thrown off the top of the cell would live on forever. He looked like he was going to deliver a tombstone, but instead he tossed Mankind across the ring. The Undertaker stood on top of the cage and looked down at Mankind's broken body. The referee began to count. 1, 2, 3. The Undertaker had won the match. If you did, what do you remember about it? And what do you think of Mankind's legacy as a whole? I've been your host, and I'll see you next time. Let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments section below. Mankind's body went flying through the air and landed with a sickening thud on the concrete floor. The Undertaker then went for the pin, but Mankind kicked out just in the nick of time. Mankind, Mick Foley. As the Undertaker began to walk away, Mankind's music started to play, and he slowly began to get to his feet. The crowd began to cheer as Mankind, despite being badly beaten, was still in the fight. We don't know what it was, but Mankind looked devastated after hearing it. The Undertaker then climbed to the top of the cage and prepared for his final assault. He dove off the top and hit Mankind with a vicious leg drop. He climbed back into the ring and slowly made his way to the top rope. He was going to climb out of the ring, but the Undertaker grabbed him by the leg and pulled him back down. These two had a long-standing rivalry at this point, with their first encounter taking place at the 1996 King of the Ring, where the Undertaker defeated Mankind to retain the WWF Championship. The feud continued into 1997, which saw Mankind get his revenge on the Undertaker by defeating him in a Falls Count Anywhere match. The tension between these two would continue into the following year as well, leading up to a Hell in a Cell match at the 1998 King of the Ring pay-per-view. On the night of the event, the match between The Undertaker and Mankind would go down in history as one of the most brutal Hell in a Cell matches ever. From the opening bell, the two went at it inside the unforgiving steel cage. Both men traded blows and suplexes, with The Undertaker even managing to hit one of his signature chokeslams. And in a fit of rage, he grabbed Mankind by the neck and began to choke him. Mankind was clearly in distress, but he managed to fight back and hit The Undertaker with a low blow. This caused The Undertaker to collapse in pain, allowing Mankind to take the fight to him. Mankind would manage to kick out at 2, though, keeping himself in the fight. As the match continued, it became more and more intense. Now, The Undertaker began to lose patience with Mankind's ability to stay alive. Mankind climbed to the top of the cage and began to rain down elbows onto The Undertaker. This is when things started to get really bad. The Undertaker grabbed Mankind and lifted him up on his shoulders. The Undertaker got back on the cage and began to climb towards Mankind, but Mankind fought him off, and managed to stay on top. The entire arena was silent for a moment, as everyone was in shock. But the story didn't end there. The Undertaker then proceeded to climb out of the cell and grab a steel chair. The Undertaker then grabbed Mankind and placed him on the top turnbuckle. He leaned in and whispered something in his ear. The Undertaker then climbed back into the ring and pinned Mankind. The aftermath of the match saw Mankind take some time off from in-ring competition to recover. In conclusion, the match between The Undertaker and Mankind at King of the Ring 1998 was a classic example of hardcore wrestling at its finest. So what do you guys think? Did you watch this match live when it happened back in 1998? And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more great wrestling content. Thank you so much for watching.